Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Omar Flores transmitting from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. This message goes to TikTok where I have a lot of Muslim followers as well and people from other religions. So I will be careful what I'm saying. For about 2 weeks, I've been talking with some Muslim friends that keep telling me, after explaining and discussing a few ideas, which are all good, they tell me that Muhammad was the greatest of all prophets and the latest of all prophets. We never went to the reason why. I guess maybe because they consider he is the last of the prophets, and with him the whole revelation gets sealed, and therefore he is the last one above that. But it wouldn't be morally, because the moral, if we discuss the lives of all the prophets, from Adam to the last one, including Muhammad and Jesus into it, morally speaking, the only moral guy, totally moral and untouchable, is Jesus of Nazareth, the only one. Jesus was single. He dedicated his life totally to God. And he explained why. He did it for the glory of God. He didn't have any wife or family or children that would hold him back, his time, his finances. That didn't hold him back in one specific town or to a specific job that will eat away the time that he dedicated to serve God. He served God totally, 24/7. And that's why he remained single. And also because he knew that he only will be with us for 3 years after his public life. And never having another wife before that, he never got married in the 3 years. And he left no descendants because he knew that by leaving a descendant was going to cause a chaos on the planet. Because can you imagine what will happen if after Jesus left, everyone will crown the son of Jesus and the grandson of Jesus as the leader of Christianity, and wouldn't be anyone coming up saying, oh, he's not as worthy as Jesus, he doesn't live according to the will of God, according to the will of his grandfather or his grandfather. I will challenge this, and there will be wars of religion in Christianity like have never been before. Like Catholics and Protestants will end up like being childcare fights in comparison to this. Our Jesus loved us, and he wanted the best for us. And he based the leadership of Christianity on our performance. He said, whoever of you who wants to be first, let it be the last. Let him be serve the others, and he will be the first in the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven starts here, on this planet. Our Jesus never lasted after any woman as well. He looked at children not as objects of sex, but as a father looks after his children. He said, let the children come to me, because of such is the kingdom of heaven. And he loved them like a father loves his children. He didn't lust after them. He didn't have sex with children of 6 or 9 years old. That is pedophilia. That is a crime, and that is not something that a man of God will do. Jesus did not marry many women. Even though they say, oh, it's okay to do it because in the past the prophets did done it. Well, in the past the prophets done it and they did wrong. That was a sin, and they're all guilty before God. Abraham, Jacob, David, Solomon, and every polygamous guy, he has to answer before God. Because who of you would like to have your wife being used by somebody else and then take her back like nothing happened, knowing that will happen the next day as well? That is unnatural. That is not from God, my fellow brothers and sisters. That comes from the devil, not from God. So Jesus remained single, remained pure. He never had slaves, he never had servants. He could have, because he had the power to do it. People fear him. People love him as well. Women threw at his feet and they washed his feet with her tears, and they put expensive perfume on him. He took it occasionally as a sign of the love of that person for him. But he never had servants, and he never enslaved people. Where other people hold slaves by saying, oh, I accept slavery to get it better. My friend, you're not getting better, but you're contributing to it. You are creating slaves. And also, he never abused and married a slave. Because they say, if you are a slave, you're separated from your husband, then you're available. And I take you and I make you my wife. That is adultery, and I claims vengeance against God because the separation wasn't a willful separation of the couple. It was imposed by you, by force, and that is not an excuse to divorce a woman because only God can accept the divorce. No human tribunal can dictate divorce upon a couple, especially if they don't want to be separated. Let's say if you are condemned for 30 years to a prison, every partner, a man or a woman, is obliged before God to wait for this person until they release, and they never release, well, they will never marry anyone else. Lack of sex is no excuse for divorce before God. We are not animals. We are human beings. We live under the power and the rules of God. And the moment when you get married, when you promise before God to be united to your wife or to your husband for life, it is for life, over the possibility of sex, over the social status and the economic stance of your family. So you are married for poor and for riches, for health or for sickness, through separation or being united, whether you have sex or you don't have sex. That idea that you are married and you don't consummate the act, you're not married, that is false, that comes from men, is evil, it comes from the devil. We are not animals. We are driven by our decision and our heart, not our genitals. Therefore, God does not see the taking of a woman separated from her husband by force as a legal union. It is adultery, and they claim vengeance to Yahweh for this crime. That's why our Jesus, in general, he never lied, he never cheated anyone, he never fought anyone, not even his own self-defense. He forgave everyone, even from the cross. He said, "Forgive them, Father, because they don't know what they do." And some people told me, in some parable in Luke, he says, whoever resists my rule, kill them before me. It was a parable. And he's talking about God the Father, Yahweh, not him. He never proposed fights to keep him in power. In fact, when he was arrested in Gethsemane, when a slave of the Jews came to arrest him, Peter put out his sword and cast his ear. Jesus pulled the ear back into this man's head, and he said to Peter, "Put your sword away, because whoever lives by the sword will die by the sword." And he also told Pilate, "Don't you think if I claim to God, he will send legions of angels to protect me? But I won't do that." Jesus could have, but he chose not to do it. Therefore, my friends, it's better to forgive. It's better to be humble. It's better to be obedient to God and put your trust in him and in his justice. Jesus loved, forgave, and he was gentle and humble to everyone. He was chaste, he was pure in intention and in actions. And there is nobody on earth who can put no even one single fault on him, which is a lot more than we can say in comparison with anyone, either Muhammad, Buddha, Zoroaster, Krishna, Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, everyone. He is above all of them morally. And that is the greatness of Christianity, my friend. That is the greatness of the Son of God, because he was the Son of God. Not because, as some Muslims say, I'm blaspheming, saying that God had sex with Mary. Please. He's the Son of God because by the will of God, the fetus of Jesus appeared in Mary's womb. So that human Jesus was not made by any human sperm. He was a miracle of God. Therefore, who else he could call Father? Only God. Nobody else. Joseph was not his father. He had nothing to do with Joseph. Nothing absolutely with him or with any other. And why was that? Because when you have a father, you are similar to your father and mother. But he was similar in character to God. And that's why through his actions and through his words and through his teachings, he expressed the love of God. He did miracles in the name of God. Every time Jesus smiled to you, you could see the face of God smiling at you, because our God is invisible. Yahweh, no one can see Yahweh. But in Jesus, Yahweh was telling you, I'm here with you. I'm loving you. See, I forgive you. I love you. I don't resent you. Jesus communicated the reality of the invisible Father to the whole humanity. And that deals already into the supernatural, which I don't want to go to, because then it will be point to discussion. But the point I'm making in the human terms only, Jesus is incomparable to Muhammad, to Buddha, or to any other man. Not even Moses, David, or Solomon, Isaiah, Ezekiel, or whoever, man. Nobody is equal to Jesus Christ. And that's why, my brothers and sisters, I invite you to walk with the head held high. We are Christians. We recognize Jesus as the Son of God. We recognize Jesus as the most holy man that ever existed. And we follow his teachings, which are immaculate. There is no one single teaching of Jesus that can say that's evil. No order of Jesus ordered you to kill, to maim, to cut heads, to cut hands, to cut livers, to fight for power, or to pillage caravans, or to violate married women, or even multiple marriages, which is an immorality as well, that comes from Satan, not from God. So be proud, brothers and sisters. We follow the best masters of all, Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God, who guide us, the best of everyone, to God our Father, who is in heaven, our God, our only living God, Yahweh of the heavens. God bless you, brothers and sisters, and I hope to see you next Sabbath. Amen.